Hey, what's up, you guys? So today I had the most random thought ever, and that has to be, you guys know how in the present there is a lot of noise, a lot of sound, a lot of voicing of you gotta respect people for their race. You gotta respect people for their original language. You gotta integrate. You gotta just be open and accepting, and it doesn't matter what you look like, what you sound like. You're just perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with you, and that's perfectly normal. I'm personally supportive of that to some extent. What I mean by that is there is stuff that people do, people show, people share, portray, create, that I can get behind. I can get behind some ideas and support them and be wild about them and pretty much jump on the bandwagon. But there is some stuff that I'm like, I don't think that I can wrap my head around it, but I'm not going to invalidate your feelings and thoughts because of it, especially if you're trying to illustrate a point. So I'm going to ask a question, and I genuinely have this question. I don't know how to answer it. I don't know what kind of opinion to have. Do you guys think that it's okay to normalize an image that may suggest poor health? And what I mean by that is, I personally never, ever go about my days looking at people who are overweight or obese and mentally make comments about that person should really lay off on the pizza, or that person should really run the extra mile. Literally. It's like, I guess what makes me not think about that is other people being like that doesn't bother me. Also, that I don't know their origin. I don't know what's happening to them. Maybe they have a medical condition in which they cannot control it, even if they were to practice the healthiest and most strict diet out there. Some people just can't help it. It's just genetically predetermined. And then for other folks, the challenge is more in the mind. I personally recur to emotional eating, but I have a certain degree of discipline and also an advantage, which is I work out very often and extensively. I'd spend 2 to 2.5 hours at the gym 5 days a week. Also, when I do commit a big sin, such as eating a whole box of pizza or a whole quart of ice cream, I go my many hours without eating, and when I do go back to eating, I make better choices. So usually in a situation like that, I tell myself, I have enough calories and enough of this and that to go about 16 hours without eating. Now, after those 16 hours, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to eat something, but let's make it something that's healthy and good and wise, for consumption. That's how I maintain myself. Also, I'm genetically predisposed to being a small person. Like, nobody in my family is big except for my mom's maternal side. But even those are kept at a minimum to some extent. But anyways, seriously, do you guys think it should be okay and allowed to be like, oh yeah, being overweight and obese is perfectly fine if you have control over it? Like, if you're just making poor choices, if you're letting stress get to you, if you are not being responsible with your health, should we just be okay with you promoting the image of I'm a nice person, so you have to love me for who I am and not pay attention to my exterior? Do you guys think that is a very good thing to do? And honestly, I'm at a conflict with this. Once again, I owe this idea, probably what triggered this thought is that trailer of I Feel Pretty, that movie coming out. But I also feel like we need to be responsible about normalizing an image like that, because say if young kids get exposed to that, they're going to be like, oh, it's okay for me to be irresponsible with my health and shape because I'm going to be loved and accepted no matter what. And I'm doing it right. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I'm like, you will be loved, you will be accepted, because you are a human being. But I don't think that we should normalize a habit that is clearly not good for you. Once again, if you have control over it, then I think we need to be responsible about how we're presenting ourselves. But if it's something that you're just a victim of, say, hormonal issues, thyroid issues, whatever other thing may contribute to maintaining you at a healthy weight, then, that's really out of your control. You did not ask to be born into the family that you were born into that has those disorders going on. But yeah, you guys, now that I'm about to wrap this up, I think I'll have to say I don't care about what you do, but if I know you personally, I do want to care because your well-being is important. But every human has their value. So you are still someone's friend, someone's partner, or something. So I would expect that you're going to make the best choices anyway. But I think that in a situation like that, it's important to be careful about what we do and the choices we make, and that we try to make the best decisions and not simply appear to be healthy. Actually be healthy. Like, I can sit here and talk about some health stuff because I actually dedicate to it. I work out. I really, really try to cook my own meals and throw many, many good ingredients into it, fresh foods as well. But I know that not everybody can do that, and some people don't have the resources or the mediums to. So that's, I guess, what makes this a tricky question for me. No matter what kind of appearance you have, you will have my respect as long as you're a decent human. To me, that's what's important. But if you happen to not have a nice appearance and on top of that you have a terrible attitude, then you're not winning any points. But if you're on a misfortunate side where you just cannot control your weight, and for some reason weight is associated with attractiveness, like on a girl, the less you have, the better you are, and on a guy, the more you have, muscle-wise, the more attractive you are. I don't know, everyone has their own preferences. What do you guys think? Do you understand why I'm asking this question? Do you see where I'm coming from? Do you actually have a conflict yourself? And do you agree or disagree with me? Or am I completely missing the point? Because it is possible that I can completely miss the point. Just tell me whatever it is that you want to tell me. I'm here for it. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.